Welcome back. We are here now starting the Eye of the North campaign. And the twist with this one is up until now I've done them on specific characters, so Warrior for Prophecies. I did this on a Ritualist for Factions. I used my Paragon you see here for Nightfall. For Eye of the North, because I kind of covered a lot of the bases of the types of, or the archetypes of character you might be running through, this time I'm just going to be using all of my characters and just running a different one for each mission. I have one character of every class, and there's a total of 11 missions here, which means 10 classes, someone's going to need to double up, so my Ranger is going to be doing the last 2 missions. But otherwise, every single one is going to be on a different character, so I'll showcase how to play each one a little bit, instead of necessarily honing in on one style. This also means, for the most part, the hero comps aren't going to change too much. However, some have gotten further into campaigns than others. For example, my monk, who I believe I have slotted down for doing Against the Char, I don't think he's really entered Nightfall, and he's done nothing in Eye of the North. So he's not going to have Livia, he's not going to have Norgu, probably isn't going to even have Master of Whispers, so we'll see what kind of crazy comp I end up coming up with for him. But otherwise, that's pretty much what you should expect here. For those of you who are just starting with the Eye of the North missions and have not watched the previous ones, my name is Hawk. I've been doing the missions in this game in hard mode. Started out with just doing the Young Heroes and Tyria missions in hard mode, but that ended up going smoothly enough that I extended it to every other mission up to this point. And generally what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be running through, explaining how I do each of these missions, and giving you general tactics advice for how to approach fights when they come up. Prophecies is probably where I really got the most into that kind of thing. But for now, we'll go ahead and go over the composition I'm running here for my Paragon. Those of you who watch Nightfall, not really surprising here. This is a standard Heroic Refrain support focus set, with, of course, Heroic Refrain, the most overpowered elite skill in the game, and it's not even close. And I have a Signet of Spirit Ritualist, I have a Soul Twist Prot Ritualist, and I have Blood is Power Healer here, a BIP Resto. I have a Minion Mancer with some extra shout support, and mainly for extra movement speed through fallback and incoming. And then I load up with Mesmers as much as I can between Energy Surge. For my Mesmer here, I switched out my elite skill for Panic, so I can more handle larger groups. And then also along with some additional Enchantment Hate. And then, because I do not have Zayri, I'm keeping Razah as a Ritualist, and instead this final slot is going to be filled by a Searing Flames Elementalist, because I want more burning for They're on Fire, to reduce damage my group takes. In terms of my experience in this game, as I've stated in previous ones, I have completed everything in this game outside of Doom and Urgaz's Warren. Urgaz because I have zero interest in anything Kurzik, and then the Underworld, I have completed every single individual quest, but I have not been able to successfully string them together in one go. Otherwise, normal mode, hard mode, I've done Fissure of Woe, the Deep, and Domain of Anguish in normal mode only. Everything else I have done in hard mode, including Winds of Change. I do not have a God Walking Amongst Mere Mortals character as of this time. However, my Warrior is at 27 out of 30 titles. His party animal is currently at 9,900 out of 10,000, and I'm about 200 platinum away from being able to just wrap up the other consumable titles and get to my 30. But anyways, without any further ado, we're going to get started. Oh, hero comps. I literally have not put any upgrades into the heroes. They might have just a changed weapon here or there, but for the most part, with the exception of my Warrior, all of my heroes are going to really have just their base stuff. I didn't really take any time to stick insignias or runes on them. I haven't found the need to really do so. So these will be relatively low budget in terms of getting your characters set. Just get the initial skills here and you're good to go. So anyways, for Curse the Nornbear here, it's a fairly quick mission. Goal number 1 is get out to this bear shrine out, or the wolf shrine out here. Make sure things are running smoothly. Is there a fevered? I do not see a fevered anymore. Mandragora enemies, the main thing you gotta watch out for is just the immense amount of condition and just general degeneration pressure they put on you. The Jotun, the Mindbreakers, are definitely the biggest concern here. If you are a melee class, the Blade Turners do run ineptitude, so you also do need to keep an eye out for that. Okay, Xandra, can you be less stupid, please? And actually get within range of my shouts so I don't need to do this. Yeah, if you're playing with somebody who's a Paragon, please stay within range of their shouts. Don't just hang out in the back like Xandra was doing there. It's just polite. Oh, I will need to refresh Heroic Refrain on me. My second cast didn't go. Much better. But yeah, it's just fighting our way through here. A couple Jotun enemies, not really that big of a deal. Even when some more come in, it's not that big of a problem. Just careful around the Blade Turner, especially if you are a martial class, because they will knock you down like crazy. But otherwise, they're not that big of a threat. Like, I am paying less attention to them. I'm just more focused on getting my heroic refrains out on everybody. Especially because we don't really have martial classes outside of Jorah and Sif. I guess only having 10 characters isn't exactly true. I do have 12 character slots. However, my 11th character is a permanent pre-searing character. You are not getting him out of there, so that's not happening. And then my other one is my current iteration of my Doom's Covenant Melander's Accord character. Currently, they are level 17, working on their Legendary Defender of Ascalon, so they're also not getting out of there anytime soon, and I am not going to risk them on a hard mode tutorial. Even if I did manage to get them out in time by, like, a time for heroes or something like that. But anyways, from here, you can get Volfin Blessing. I'm actually going to put Heroic Refrain on myself here. And then also, let's cast Blood as Power on myself, get some energy back, make sure I can maintain it. And then we'll stick it over Aggressive Refrain, so I don't need to worry about that anymore. So, Volfin Blessing here, its main thing is, this is going to be a common theme through all 3 Norn missions. You're going to get a blessing to the wolf, the raven, and the bear. Technically, you don't need to take them. I would say, if anything, you do probably need the bear one. But the other 2 really aren't that important to use for this mission. They're helpful for a little bit of extra damage, especially if you're not running a damage build. But their main purpose is to show you how to progress through. However, if you know the spots to go to, you don't actually need to use the Volfin Blessing once. I'm nervous about it shutting down my heroic refrains, which is why I'm not casting it. But it has a skill, Volfin Bloodlust, that would show you the location for where you need to go. Which, spoiler alert, is right here. You go here first, then you go up here, and then you are exiting towards this Resurrection Shrine. You just go to those 3 spots, you fight the Nornbear at each location, and then you move on. But yeah, so Nightfall missions, unlike the previous 3 campaigns, they do not have a Master's Reward. They do not have any bonus objectives. It is just straight up complete them. So I'm not going to be showing anything really extra here. I'm going to take out the Dream Root first, because Mesmers are always annoying. Well, once we get over here, Jorah should say a few words, and we will see Nornbear show up. There he is. Just take him out. You won't actually be able to kill him. Once he takes enough damage, he uses Spirit World Retreat and runs away. Even if you interrupted it and tried to kill him, which you can do, it's just going to make him vanish anyways. You can't actually kill him. Inconvenient, yes, but there's nothing I can do about it. But now we head over to the next location, which is also why when you have the option to run north or south when you first enter this cave, is why I went south, because I knew I'd have to go through all this area eventually anyways. Yeah, this is a relatively quick mission. Just a matter of getting all of my heroes to actually stay within my range for my shouts. Shouldn't need to worry about that once I get off the Paragon. Which the order I will be recording and releasing these missions is the same order they are in the Hero's Handbook, which will be... Oh, I guess not in the same order. Well, I'm doing Norn first, because they're the closest ones. Generally, they're the ones I do first. And the game kind of leads you to do those first. Then I'll probably do the Asura ones next. Just because I generally do the Asura ones next, because it unlocks Livia, who besides Gwen and Xandra is the most useful hero you can get out of Eye of the North, if you ask me. It's like Ogden's really good too. Vet can be useful. Kamu can be useful. I really haven't had much needs for warrior heroes, so Jorah isn't as effective. Hero Paragons aren't nearly as good as players, so they don't get heroic refrains, so no Haida. Going through the medium armors, it's like Dervish, Kamu I've already mentioned. Pyre, again, I haven't really had much use for ranger heroes. Same goes for assassin heroes, which is where Anton would fall in. And then I think I've covered all of the lights, because I covered the Rit, covered the Monk, covered the Ellie, the Mesmer, and the Necro. For our last fight here, probably didn't need to fight this group, but oh well. I'm just being a little bit extra cautious in hard mode. I got distracted with my chatter. And so see a Blade Turner in the back, so I'll probably go after him. I'm going to go ahead and find out if it gets rid of my heroic refrain if I use this. It did not. Okay, good. So, Wolfen Bloodlust here, if you use the 3 skill, it shows you where to go for your next objective on the map. Otherwise, it's like 4 skills useful. You want to when you're actually fighting with it, 4 skill first, then you can use the others. And you should be trying to maintain 4 and 3 as much as you can, because then that recharges in record pace. There's our Nornbear. Go ahead and go back to normal. Then your 1 and 2 skills are mostly for damage. There we go. So if you do have an interrupt skill, you want to save it for Spirit World Retreat. We'll see if my guys will... Well, I tried.
never anger a Norn.
But if you fail, you just wait. He comes back, and as long as you have decent damage, you will deal more damage than Spirit World Retreat healed while he was gone. And easy win. So there we go, Curse of the Nornbear. And we skip all cutscenes here because if you want to watch them, do the mission yourself. So with that, Curse of the Nornbear is done. Next up will be A Gate Too Far, which will be on my Ritualist. Which again, you will have seen through the playthrough of the Factions missions. So as always, hope these guides are useful, and we will see you for the next one.